I want to be royalty. I want to have power. So I'm learning about all of the monarchs in England, throughout history. It's the conquerors and the ones that inherited all of their wealth and glory. I guess I plan to do both. King Edward VIII of the House of Windsor. Edward VIII was the son of George V and Mary. His great-grandmother was Queen Victoria. He reigned from, get this, January 20th to December 11th, 1936, a mere 326 days. He abdicated the throne because of a constitutional crisis. He wanted to marry the object of his affection and obsession, Wallis Simpson, an American double divorcee who grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. She and Edward visited Adolf Hitler and earned the reputation of being Nazi sympathizers. Old letters written by Wallis Simpson seem to suggest that she regretted divorcing her husband, Ernest Simpson, to marry the man-child, Edward, who was head over heels infatuated with Wallis and her Spitfire personality. Following his abdication, Edward was known as the Duke of Windsor. Early on, Edward served in the British Army during the First World War. He was actually quite popular. He was quite the charmer, and he dressed well. But later, after World War I, he was a bit of a playboy. People were starting to suspect that perhaps he wasn't really taking the whole royalty thing seriously. During his reign, he made it clear he was not a fan of court protocol and all of the things that were expected of someone in his position. He and Simpson married in France, a lonely wedding, in that I don't think anybody really showed up from the family. After World War II, when Edward and Simpson chose the wrong side of history by visiting Hitler and kind of enjoying Hitler's company, Edward spent the rest of his days in France. He and Wallis stayed together. Edward's brother took the role of George VI and succeeded Edward. Apparently, George VI's wife, the Queen Mother Elizabeth, and Wallis spent a good amount of their time despising one another. King George VI, the son of George V and his wife Mary. George VI was catapulted onto the throne after his older brother Edward VIII abdicated to choose the woman he loved, Wallis Simpson, over ruling a country. I don't get that. But anyway, George VI's original name was Albert or Bertie. He took the name George for continuity in the monarchy. He ruled during World War II and was filmed proudly waving with his family from a balcony at the end of the war to celebrate the victory of the Allies, Great Britain, the US, France, and the Soviet Union, over the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan. During the reign of George VI, the British Empire developed into the Commonwealth of Nations. George had a stammer, possibly due to the verbal abuse from his daddy, George V, when George VI was a child. Despite this, he managed to speak at the United Nations First Assembly in 1946, and he also did a lot of radio broadcasts. Then there was Queen Elizabeth II, the daughter of George VI. She was the longest reigning monarch in the history of England, as well as the most traveled, speaking fluent French and doing a lot of charity work. During World War II, she did a radio broadcast just like her daddy. She did this to the nation only at the age of 14. Later, she trained as a mechanic and an expert driver. Her successor is King Charles III, formerly Prince of Wales, first married to Diana and now to Camilla. That about does it for me and the monarchs of England. The last thing I will say is that I still want to have power. I still want to have fame and glory. I'd give my eye teeth to be a royal. If I had eye teeth, it's hard to tell since my mouth is always pursed.